We will sit for 30 minutes and then we'll open up for Dharma talk. So I will do a little guided meditation to relax the body. And then we can use the method that we normally use to sit. It's important to prime the body and mind for sitting, so our sitting is effective. To prime the body, we do progressive relaxation. So from top of the head, relax down the forehead to the space between the eyebrows. Make sure your body is relaxed. And in this area, relax this area. In order to do so, you may raise your eyebrows up, hold, and let them drop. Do this several times. Raise your eyebrows up. In other words, tense up and release. Tense up, release. Feeling the skin, muscles, tendons relaxing. From this point, extend to the eyes. First, relaxing the eyelids, relaxing the skin, relaxing the eyeballs, treating the eyeballs like muscles. Relax. Don't use your eyes to see. If you have your eyes closed and you see black, you see darkness, that means you're still using your eyes. So treat your eyes like muscles, no ability to see. Instead, feel their contour. See if there are any tension, even feeling their weight, feeling them relaxed. The whole eye region relaxed. And then relax down your cheeks, jaw, chin, relaxed. Your chin tucked in a little bit without looking down. Next, your lips. You may wet your lips at this time. And gentle smile. So I want you to feel your smile. There's a subtle shift in your feeling tone. of being content, at ease. Allow this feeling to register. And go back to the crown of the head. Relax in the front of the scalp all the way to the back. Section by section. Relaxing the skin. Opening the pores. Each follicle of hair relaxed. Open. All the way to the base of the cranium. And then from this point, relax down the neck. Feeling the skin, muscles, tendons. Relaxing. At this time, you can rotate your head to get a good feel of your neck muscles. Relaxing them. And next, the shoulders. Another area that's difficult to relax. So feel your shoulder muscles relaxing. If you have difficulty knowing what it feels like to relax, then you can take an inhalation, raise your shoulders towards your ears, hold, and let them drop. Exhale. Do this several times. As you do this, familiarize yourself with what it feels like to relax your shoulders. How does it feel? And then relax down the two arms, the upper arms, feeling the biceps, triceps, skin, muscles, tendons, relaxing. And then elbows, wiggle them a little bit. Make sure they're relaxed. And then the forearms. Wrists. Feel the warmth of your palm, your fingers on your lap, on your knees. For the time being, just place your hands there. The arms relaxed. Now let's go to the chest. The body is upright. Do not push out the chest. Do not concave. See if you can feel the subtle rise and fall of the chest, following the rhythm of your breath. Become aware of the exhalations. Every time you exhale, relax. With the next exhalation, relax down to the abdomen. See if you can feel the subtle rise and fall of the abdomen following the rhythm of your breath. Now let's go to the back. The upper back, between the shoulder blades. Feel the skin, muscles, tendons relaxing. The subtle movements are there as well, following the rhythm of your breath. Next exhalation, relax down to the mid-back. Stay here for a bit. Feel the skin, muscles, tendons. And then relax down. Lower back. As you exhale, drop the sense of bodily weight. Allow it to sink downwards, right into your seat. Allow all the bodily weight to settle there. At this time, sway your body from left to right, front and back. Find that center point of gravity and settle. At this time, put your hands in the meditation posture. Left on top of right, palms up, thumbs touching, resting on your lap. Feel the sense of groundedness, settled. If you need to, use your exhalations. As you exhale, relax down. Allow the sense of bodily weight sink down into earth. Completely relaxed, leaving your upper body light as a feather. Relaxing the hips, thighs, and knees, calves, ankles, and feet. And now settle the presence at the base of your posture. The body is relaxed, at ease. Now it's time to prime the mind. What this means is you come to how you actually feel in the moment. Become aware. This underlying tone should be relaxed, feeling content, pleasant, light. So to prime the mind means to allow this experience to resonate. Pleasant, content, joy. With this attitude, we bring forth the method. Mindfulness of breath, counting the breath, or other methods. Just sitting, shikantaza, silent illumination, koan, huato. This means you're contently, needing nothing from outside, resting your awareness with clarity on your method. So we sit for a few minutes. Show your palms, move and massage. If you need to, you can stretch the legs out a little bit. So we're all bearing witness to probably something you haven't experienced in your life. This COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. Maybe none of you have experienced pandemic before. So it brings on a lot of anxiety. And with our default habit tendency of relying on our thoughts and feelings impacted by the environment outside, we have a lot of ruminations and ideas about this. And you may find yourself constantly checking online maybe about the number of death tolls or the status of the coronavirus. And the news keep on projecting, updating. Of course, all of us should be aware of what's going on. But at the same time, we have to be able to not be sucked into the vortex of this, the media and the news and the updates. Same thing when the Twin Towers went down. The news and the media continually updating, terrorism. So it's like traumatizing yourself again, if you don't practice. So it's important at this time to be able to practice. And at a very rudimentary level, the foundation of practice, this foundation facilitates our ability to be stable and to have insights, the clarity to know what to do. The foundation is relaxed, natural, and clear. You have to learn to settle in your body, the nerves. You can practice progressive relaxation like we did, to be in tune with the body, as opposed to be up here, top heavy. Being top heavy, you'll be tense, you'll become tense. So you have to ground yourself in the body. The best way to do that is relaxation. Not telling yourself to relax, but actually feel the body relax. So in terms of our sense faculties, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. What we're talking about is the body, the faculty of the body. You can't verbally tell yourself to relax. That's not going to relax the body. So you have to engage with the body, be in the body, through the body, relaxing. So tactile sensations. So by engaging tactile sensations, We can actually feel the body relaxing, relaxing, relaxing. Skin, muscles, tendons, section by section. So in order to have the weight drop down, you must relax the eyes area. Once this area is relaxed, you have to relax the shoulders. Once these two areas of the body is able to relax, then the sense of weight will be able to drop downwards. If any one of these two is tense, your energy will be stuck there. Right? Most people is just top heavy. They live in their head. So you're not going to be able to relax. So relaxation is foundation. Once the body is relaxed, your breath will be able to harmonize. Harmonizing the breath, then you gain some clarity. Does that make sense? So it's the foundation. On the basis of this foundation, then we can practice. Right? We can face whatever circumstances we find ourselves in and not be sucked into the vortex. We can embrace it, right? Accept it. And then we can work with it. And then we can be free from it. So facing, embracing, working with it, and letting go. The problem is we tend to make everything into a thing. We tend to reify everything into a thing. And it becomes something real. Through our attachment, through our grasping, things come into being. Yeah. So this is something that maybe some of you have heard me say. It's not that we attach to things out there. There are things out here and we attach to it. It's actually through our attachment, things come into being. Things become reified. Because everything continues to change, fluid. Right? But when we grasp onto it, then it becomes a thing to us. Object of our attachment. Through our attachment, objects come into being. What is this object? News about coronavirus. Our worry. Our stress. Some people have fear. Very recently, I have a student. She has a lot of fear. Fear based on that which has not come yet. Future. Anticipating the possibility that has become a thing. And then she holds on to the narrative. And then anxiety, stress. Okay. So come back to the body. Relax. Ground yourself. Must have some grounding. Natural. Ordinary. Then clear. This ordinary refers to the breath, or natural, also refers to the mind. Someone once asked Chan Master Mazu, what is the way? What is the path? Maybe most of you have heard this. Mazu says, ordinary mind is the way. Ordinary mind. What is the ordinary mind? Ordinary mind is the mind that doesn't make everything into a thing, into something special. Right? In other words, extraordinary. We are living in a time of extraordinary circumstances. Most of us have never experienced pandemic before. Right? Maybe we read about it in history. But the reality is, Things like this happen all the time in history, human history. Every once in a while, there's some disease. Extraordinary. If we reify, solidify, grasp onto this as a thing, extraordinary, then the mind is not ordinary. So when Matsu says, ordinary mind is the way. So in facing extraordinary circumstances, our attitude is ordinary. This is the principle. It's not to minimize, deny what's happened. Only when the mind is not sucked into the vortex of this extraordinary circumstances, making a big deal out of everything, then the mind is at ease. Then you can be clear. So relaxed, natural. This naturalness is connected to ordinary. Dealing with the breath, but also dealing with the attitude. Then you'll be clear. You'll know what needs to be done in this moment. Does that make sense? Nod your head? Yeah, okay. So, relax. Natural, ordinary. Very important. Facing extraordinary things or things that just occur, that astonish us, that takes us by surprise, or things that are out of the ordinary. We face it with ordinary mind. Please remember that. That's a principle. And then the third one, the foundation. Relaxed, natural, clear. Clear about what? Clear of what needs to be done. What can be done. What ought to be done. So this means we're clear of the workings of causes and conditions. Everything that we see, touch, we hear, we perceive. Everything is the workings of a confluence of causes and conditions. Of which we are a part. So what we can do, we need clarity in order to do that. If we are sucked into the vortex of all the media, compulsory checking of the news, stressing yourself out, re-traumatizing again and again, you're not going to be able to relax. You're totally not grounded. You're up here. So relax. Natural, ordinary mind. Then you can see the workings of causes and conditions. So be able to recognize causes and conditions. Be able to adapt to causes and conditions. Sometimes circumstances arise, so that there's nothing we can do. So we adapt. And sometimes that adaptation calls for waiting. Right? Another thing that we can do with causes and conditions is creating causes and conditions. Sometimes when we wait, we naturally go back to the default, our head spinning, worry about this and that. So you can channel that energy into something productive. Right? Channel into something productive. I have a student who's got coronavirus in New York. New York got it pretty bad. So they quarantined themselves. Now they're on solitary retreat. They're making use of the time to study the Dharma, to add more sitting times, and they are making connection with people on the internet. So instead of using the internet to worry themselves, they're using the internet to connect to people. So one of the students have offered, this will begin next Monday, to offer 7:30 a.m. Eastern time morning sit meditation. So she's affected. She's using that time to connect to others and practicing. So beginning next Monday, we'll also have that. Creating the positive causes and conditions. And this week, I will offer gratitude, online session, Zoom session, how to do gratitude prostrations, how to do repentance prostrations. So I'll have some students help out filming. I'll give an explanation and we can do it all together online. So creating the circumstances in which we can support one another. We can help one another in this difficult time. So working with causes and conditions, first you have to recognize your situation, your conditions. And then sometimes you have to adapt. Sometimes you have to wait. And many times you have to create the causes and conditions. So that's clarity. Right? It's on the basis of ordinary mind or naturalness and relaxed body. So can you all remember this? Right. This is Chan Practice 101. Right. So relaxed, natural, clear. Okay. Physiological level, psychological level, it means body relax. Learn to ground yourself, to be in tune with the body. Naturalness of the breath. Also, naturalness in the way you carry yourself, way of being. The ordinary mind, attitude, facing extraordinary circumstances. And then clarity as to what can be done, what ought to be done, what should be done. Know the limitations, right? And know the opportunities. And this requires working with causes and conditions, recognizing, adapting, waiting, creating. So I try to make it succinct. Now I want to say a few words about the coronavirus. As far as I know, in talking with 3 or 4 of my students who seem to have gotten this. For those of you who have had the flu, it's basically like a flu. If you have no underlying conditions, it just feels like a flu. Except with regular flu, you get progressively worse, steady. First day, second day, third day, fourth day, you're out. Right? They peak and then it goes down. With coronavirus, of course, I only spoke to 4 of my students, so I have no statistics about this. But what seemed to be a pattern with them is that it's not steady. With flu, it's steady. It's worse, 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 peak, and then it comes down. With coronavirus, up and down. In the morning, you can have 108 fever, 106. Afternoon, you're perfectly fine. Next day, in the morning, you're fine. You feel maybe a little pressure. At night, worse. So it's unsteady. It's unsteady. Right? Also, another thing is the chest, kind of pressure in the chest. Those of you who, there are some who respond differently. Some have fever, some have all the symptoms, coughing, while others have it mild. But when you have cough, it's up here. It's not like a deep cough, the depth of your lungs. It's very up here and gets a pressure here. So what I want to say is, if you have no underlying conditions, it's just like a flu. You don't make it into a big deal. You don't make it into a big deal, a thing, right? It's gonna kill me. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that. It's not. You'll be fine. Those of you with underlying conditions, if you live up here, you'll make it worse. If you ruminate, if you reflect upon it. I have one student who was just texting him today. Just every time he think about the virus, all the symptoms worsen. Right? And I said, of course, your body and your brain cannot distinguish what is actually real or not. Your brain lives in a dark shell. Right? All it relies on is the perception, signals, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. Right? So whatever signal you send yourself, rumination about sickness, about what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. The brain can't distinguish that. It just sends stress hormones because you're stressed. So amygdala signals, hippocampus, hypothalamus, pituitary glands produce stress hormones, send it out, flush down to the body. Once the stress hormones, flush to the body, it weakens your immune system, right? So all the symptoms will come up. So it's very important to practice, right? To be present with the task at hand, to be productive, creating causes and conditions that allows you to be stable, allow the virus to work through, drink lots of water, rest, and the activities that you do are actually conducive to your health and not get caught up with worry, anxiety, right? That's like a vicious cycle that will make it worse. So if you have or don't have these underlying conditions, right, mainly it's respiratory. Of course, what is listed is high blood pressure, heart problem, blah, blah, blah. But if you're calm, ordinary mind, if you're stable, grounded, your blood pressure is not going to go up. Meditators, those of you who are seasoned, when you're settled, your blood pressure goes down. You can control your blood pressure. Right? If you're angst, then I'm sorry, the blood pressure go up. So the direct affecting is the respiratory system. Right? So the underlying conditions. Either way, if you're practicing, you will put yourself in a favorable condition in facing this, in experiencing this. Of course, the protocols of washing hands, social distancing, right? The added element that I'm encouraging is practice. Can you all remember? Relaxed, natural, ordinary mind, and then clear. Clear about what? The workings of causes and conditions. recognizing what's going on, the conditions where you are, the conditions outside, adapting to it, wait for it, the right conditions, and creating the positive conditions for you to heal if you're not feeling well, prevent if you have not gotten the virus. The conditions about creating conditions. If you're not clear, you're just in this vortex of worry, anxiety, and you will miss the opportunities. You will miss the causes and conditions, so you won't be able to see the causes and conditions. Right? It's very important because at this time, it's not only our take care of our health, body. Many people are laid off from work. So financial issues, problems, and they need to find ways. Right? So two of my students, they are farmers. So they have relied on online distribution of their produce, right? And they're sustaining themselves. So these opportunities, what you can do, what you can't do. If the mind is vexed, it won't be able to see clearly. So it's important to maintain your clarity, stability. And the only way to do that is practice. Okay, now I will unmute people. Often when I'm practicing meditation and trying to sit still, I will develop sore on my lower back, which is quite distracting, make me hard to relax. What should I do? Soreness of the lower back, several possible causes. First, you have to ask yourself whether your posture is causing pain, if your posture is correct or not. So if you sit, the correct posture is a naturally erect back. A naturally erect back at the lower lumbar area, this lower lumbar area, should have a natural curve. It's just like when you stand up. So to have a model of what your back's supposed to be, you stand up, upright, completely relaxed. And that's the shape of your back, of your spine, if you're sitting. So you try to replicate that. Usually, in order to replicate that, that means your buttocks must be higher than your knees. If your knees are higher, your back will want to arch. That naturally curvature in the lumbar area will cannot be maintained. And if you force yourself to have that lumbar area where the knees are up, it'll definitely be painful. Not only the back, but the front part, your abdomen will be painful. So your buttocks must be higher than the knees. This way, your back can naturally be upright, right? This means either you sit on a cushion, towel, plus a cushion, or meditation bench. Adjust yourself to have a posture in which you can naturally have an effortless erect back, just like as you are standing. Okay, so that's if the cause is actually posture, wrong posture. Now there are other causes such as chronic back pain, poor posture throughout the day, decades of poor posture. So your core muscle, your core area, front and back, is just weak. Right? So when you relax, so there's a blockage there. Right? So when there's weak, there's a blockage there. When you sit and relax, the energy will not flow through, so it will get stuck there, and you will have pain. And the more you think about it, the more you make it into a thing, right, the more painful it is. Right? If you try to straighten up, right, that makes it worse. Right? So it's just for you, what is a naturally erect back? People that are elderly, for example, their back is naturally curved. But for them, that's a naturally erect back. Right? So lower back pain, to help that, make sure the posture is correct. Make sure in daily life you have good posture. Make sure your core area is strong. You can do stretching. You can make it yourself more limber. And certainly you can do massage after you sit, the way we teach it. Right? Make the hands warm. Start with the eyes, face, head, and then from here on out, muscles squeeze, joints rub. Make the hands warm. Massage throughout the body systematically. So this will help to open up blockages, energy blocks, but also, of course, help the soreness of different areas of the body. Even though your back's having pain, still start with the eyes, face, the upper body, and then just spend more time with the lower back massage. Now, in time, that should get a little bit better. All right, so maybe this is deal with the relaxation. So most people are not in tune with how to relax their body, how to have a good posture yet relaxed. So you have to, instead of being up here, you have to be more aligned with how you actually feel, how the body feel, more in tune with what's going on in your body. Right? So it takes practice. Remember what I said earlier. You don't tell yourself to relax. That's thoughts, wandering thoughts. Right? Relaxation is dealing with the bodily faculty, which means tactile sensations. So you actually have to get used to feeling your body, the skin, the muscles, tendons. So actually be in your body, relaxing, as opposed to telling yourself or wishful thinking. All right. Some questions. There's a lot of questions. I'll try to answer them. How do I know I'm attached to anything or anyone? If you don't have it, you constantly think about it, then you know you're attached to it. In terms of people, we're attached to those people close to us all of our lives. We have certain expectations, anticipation. We want to be heard. We want to be seen. We want to be loved. So this tendency, this pattern, is very deep. Same thing with the things that we have. When these things are under threat, challenge, then you definitely know if you're attached or not. If other people's happiness require you to let go, and you can't, then you're attached. What about love? Sometimes love takes the form of letting go. You want the person to be happy. You want the person to flourish, even at the expense of leaving you. That's love. Even at the expense of perhaps it won't make you too happy, but you're there to support. So the subtle distinction, self-referential versus non-self-referential. Me, I, my, in the center of this. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to be loved. Versus you want the person to be happy. So something to think about. How to contribute in this situation. How to be of help. First, you have to help yourself. You have to be in tune with yourself. You're at ease. If you're at ease, you're not in the vortex. You're stable. You're clear. Then you will naturally extend out. You'll be a beacon for all those around you. People come in contact with you, they're at ease. So you can't help people if in this circumstance, if you yourself are exuding tension, stress. Right? So you have to be relaxed, natural, ordinary mind, facing extraordinary circumstances and clarity. That's how you help those people around you immediately. You bring a level of stability, comfort, support to them. All right, practical issues, everyone can do their own part. Everyone has a particular skill, for example. Right? It's up to you. You have to see what you can do, helping others. Right? Maybe volunteer work, online volunteer work. If you can afford it, if you're not affected financially, the situation, you'll still be all right. See if there's a volunteer work that you can help. Do some online work to help this situation locally, local government, or some opportunity. So all that what I've said before applies. Relaxed, natural, clear. Ordinary mind facing difficulties. Clear about what? Working with causes and conditions. Your own condition, your own strength, your own capability, you're aware. And you have to adapt to the circumstances. Sometimes what is needed, what sector of the society that you can do. How can you connect people? Right? Bring people together. Resources. Right? Create the causes and conditions. So, depends on what you can do, each of you. Start with yourself. How can we be relaxed, natural, and clear in daily life? How can we intervene when we can't practice during a busy day? There's no such thing. You can't practice. If you have a mind, if you have a body, you can practice. So this questions come from the notion of practice. Maybe a particular notion of what practice is. The practice from a Chan practitioner is your life. Your life is practice. So whether you're working, doing research, or you're using your mind, you're relaxed, natural, clear. Right? You're on target. Whether you're doing menial work, cleaning, You can definitely practice. So how can we integrate practice in daily life? We practice. So I created something when I was living up in New York at the Chan Center. When I was a monk, our IT person, she hates meditation. She's got 10,000 things going on. Christina Tang. This is decades ago. So I created something called 1 minute Manhattan Chan for her. So I thought, okay, fine. You don't like meditation? Fine. You choose 5 things that you already do in daily life. Brush your teeth. First bite of lunch. Same flight of stairs. Same thing that you do. You don't add on an obligation of practice to what you already do, but you turn those things that you already do, 5 things, for 1 minute. Relax, natural, clear, engage. Right? For example, first bite of lunch. Complete for 1 minute. Engage with eating. Eyes, see the texture. The sandwich, orange. Scent, smell. The juice, taste. The chewing, the swallowing. All the senses activated, engaged. Relaxingly, naturally. Then you're practicing. Likewise with everything that you do in your life. Right? But you start with these 5 things. Right? Don't overwhelm yourself. You say, I'm going to practice every moment of my life. You can't do that. Just choose 5. From these 5, it will extend to other areas of life. Right? It won't be that after a minute, oh, time's up, time to be stressed again. It's not going to happen like that. Right? That 1 minute will extend. So you have it throughout the day. Then in activity, you're integrating the principle and the foundation of practice. Then we can talk about more advanced practices. Does that make sense? You choose 5 innocuous things, just simple things. 3 months, every day. After 3 months, you'll notice, well, after a week, you'll notice that your level of mindfulness, clarity, increased. Sense of being grounded, increased. Then you move on to 5 other things, little more difficult things, like talking with a difficult person, right? Or busy situations, doing research. 3 more months. If you don't practice, you can't read about it. You read about Dharma books, read sutras, it's not going to help. You're still relying on your habit, tendency, pattern of grasping, tension. Right? The only way to do this is you practice what I spoke about. How to practice? 1 Manhattan minute Chan. 5 things, 1 minute. Start with those, and then move on to 5 other things, difficult things that you already do. After that, you would have already developed a discipline for stability, for practice. Then you will have insight. So this is what I'm talking about. Daily life, precept, concentration, wisdom. The 3 higher learnings, 3 studies, embodied in your life. Right? Discipline. Right? withdrawing your senses, be able to be in the present, engaged, relaxed. Then your interior life, interior state becomes more stable. That's meditation, which gives rise to wisdom. Okay? After my body relaxed, should mind think about causes of worry, like money or illness, trying to understand better? We are not oblivious to what's happening with our finances, with our circumstances. But you have to engage with reflecting on them, observing them, doing something about them while being grounded. You have to be relaxed. If you find yourself worrying, then you're in the loop. So the default way of you relating to that is vexations. Right? 烦恼. And not a good idea. So you have to practice, relax, natural, clear. Get a good foundation. And then when you're in a better situation, then you can reflect on what can be done, what ought to be done, what is possible, what is not possible. That's working with causes and conditions. But certainly in meditation, seated meditation, you don't think about that. Just work on the method. Yeah, a lot of people are stressed. But you have to know how to use the method, practice in the midst of it all. Life is practice. If you relax into your body, sometimes kind of physiological situations arise. That's fine. Just relax into it. If you need to take a break, you take a break. Don't force yourself into doing things. Okay, that's the end of the questions. Let me do a little advertisement. This Wednesday, one of my students will do the loving kindness meditation to oneself and then to everyone in this difficult time. So that's something we can do to stabilize ourselves and collectively send our good wishes to all those in need. Okay, so we can do this together on Wednesday. And sometime this week, I will do a session on repentance and gratitude prostrations. So I'll notify all of you about that. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Take care of those around you.